Si pienso que fui hecho para soñar el sol y para decir cosas que recuerden amor, ¿cómo es posible entonces que duerman tres saltos de angustia y horror? En mi sábana blanca vertieron hollín, han echado basura en mi viejo jardín. Si captura al culpable de tanto desastre, lo va a lamentar. Lo va a lamentar. Hello, I'm Sergio the Humming Man, and today is going to be the first series of the videos I'm going to put regularly because I want to reflect on why I'm doing the humming, so people can actually understand and ask any questions if you need them. Basically, I'm an empath, as many of you, which for me is some kind of natural state. It's something that through life experience I became more aware. So now I'm advocating for more human-to-human interaction, a more collaborative society. I think we are in a kind of shift times where people are looking for more real connections between people, coming from the heart, following your path, and be truthful for yourself. I was a bit different in the sense of hypersensitive. I remember when I was 5 or 6, my teacher, in one of a report, called me or wrote talking about myself as being someone sensitive and aspirational, and she got it spot on. I think she realized, I don't know how, but that's me. I started in life being living in my own world and very sensitive around what was happening around. And the reason I'm very keen about empathy is because life experiences I had in the past has made the person, has contributed to the person I am now. I want to encourage empathy as a model of care, really. And the only way to test it is to try by experience. One of the type of empathy is actually somatic, physical. My father died of lung cancer when I was 26 or 27. And I realized, apart from being a musician and a pianist, being very sensitive to touch, and I didn't know that I was good at healing even now. But he used to ask me to help him in the last stages of cancer when he was bloated and in pain. And how did I know I was doing right? Well, I was very keen, of course, to help him, to the point I was feeling the pain in my own body. So I knew exactly where to place my hand, not touch, just 5 or 10 centimeters, and I just wanted to help him, and I found out the pain in my body was his pain. However, life, as you know, if you're an empath, it's not an easy path. There's a flip coin for a true empath, really, which is altruistic doing. If you expect something on return, you're not an empath. You're always do things because you're expecting either recognition or something on return from people that you want to help. How you recognize other people's feelings, sometimes even before them, you cannot even put into words by sensing or by touching or talking, but sometimes it's just not sense. As a creative person, I think it's important to live really strong experiences in order to have empathy. Empathy is not something that you learn from a book. I think 6 years ago I read the news of a lady, I can't remember even her name. I was touched by her story. Was a pianist who struggled in life and became homeless. She was living in a van in Chiswick, very loved by her community. Also like her proud and her sense of being, because she didn't want any help from the government to be housed. One day at night she was killed by a car in a car accident. A van ran over. That news touched me because I was also on the edge of becoming homeless as a renter in London. So this is a form of empathy that became a creative tool. What I feel from the heart is I wanted to give her a tribute. I dragged my daughter to the church service. We got late, but what I managed to do is actually a composition, which is a kind of, I started on my daughter's keyboard, a sequence that have no beginning and ending, is eternal. It represents the idea of every station or chord is your home, but you don't have a grounding base when I can call this is my physical home. In fact, because part of being a homeless is wandering, but also appreciating that wherever you are in the world or in your life, home is where you're happy and content with. So this musical sequence, I started as a composition, and then a couple of years later, I got a commission to write an orchestral piece back home in Gran Canaria. By that time I had already developed humming, which was my only tool to survive really. Music helped me. Bach was my teacher and I was my healer. I was listening to Bach repetitively and then stopped and found myself humming. That was soothing, and then immediately I thought, if it's good for me, it should be good for other people. And immediately shared with other people. It wasn't perfect, and the feedback I got was very positive, which kept me going until now. I was diagnosed with prostate cancer a year ago, and I started to build a relationship with my own body, with myself and my prostate. So I started humming to my prostate. No one told me that I was good, but it felt good, it felt real. I could feel the vibration in my body, and that's how I apply where I was reaching into myself, because that's the only way I can be honest and genuine with what I believe. Because of all the life changes and everything, I felt quite isolated in the environment where I live, in my neighborhood. Until last month or two, actually, after 2 years, thanks to a course I'm doing with Mind, the mental health charity in Harrow, where I live. I found people who are all empaths. Let me rewind. I'm getting emotional just to feel I met an amazing group of people who wanted to help other people because they struggle with mental health in the past, as myself, and they want to do something for other people. At the time I was homeless, I think I don't have a clue about the theory, the psychological theory of empathy. All I know is I'm an empath when I realize that there's a bigger picture. There's a big reality beyond ourselves. We are part of a connectedness and connection. We're all one. We always look about differences, but always look for similarities in human experiences. So at the point where I was homeless, I wasn't on the streets, I was staying in youth hostels. I came about this idea of actually changing my perception of myself from being a victim to being an activist. So the change from victimism to activism, actually doing something to change other people's reality, looking about the common good. That was my route to recovery and everything else. My theory of empathy is that you have to live experiences to become aware of a reality beyond yourself, to move from victim to a compassionate human being. And also, it's not the idea that you're empath with the heart and maybe your head. That's not enough. An empath is action-led, so you do things using your own talents. In my case, music, lately drawing. I'm a creative being. I'm happy with it. I'm here in this cave because caves are important for the humming. It gives a sense of connection to Mother Earth. The resonance and the acoustic are important to feel safe. So I do hope to come back again and do some humming in the natural landscape, natural environment, as I've done in Gran Canaria, where I'm from, in natural caves. I see my role now at the moment advocating for empathy in cancer care, where doctors and nurses who suffer from cancer can help other patients, because now they are on the other side. So we need more empathy in care. We need empathy in the education system, not only for students, but for teachers, students and family. A more holistic, preventive approach to mental health. As a final note, after the year of recovery from cancer, I got my first job as a music teacher in a secondary school. And when I was talking about my illness and what place I was at, fully recovered, very happy, I just wanted to establish a relationship of equals as a teacher. I said to them, look, I had cancer in the past and healed. I cannot afford to be stressed. Little I knew, with all the work, I thought everything was fine, I was healed. Well, the body felt stress again. Stress not only to do with the behavior of children, which I struggle to manage, but the whole system as well. Teaching is a very stressful position. So and what happened basically, I lost my job because I said something stupid, which in my mind was a silly joke. Student complained, and that's a reality, and I got sacked. Some student who joined my YouTube channel where you're watching this video, I think honestly without considering the consequences, they started to put comments that were out of the blue, like, I was found that I had joined marijuana in my draw, which is ridiculous. This is a criminal offense. How come I could smoke when my father died of lung cancer? I don't smoke. And there was an incident where I think there was kind of smell of joint marijuana in my class. I mentioned nothing happened, very surreal spirit, but of course we're talking about serious stuff. None of this was considered. So if you're watching this video, you're from that school, I'm not giving any names, please think about, this is a public site. I want people to have comments on future videos, and I've been deleting these messages and these comments because they are childish and people don't realize the whole picture and the damage you can do. I'm not talking about reputation as my reputation, but it's a false truth. You need to know what happened around. In fact, I'm not considering any more teaching. I've been teaching to autistic children, and I'm very passionate about special needs education. This is something that we can learn, of course. Looking at the education system, we just need to look to one country, Denmark. They have, I think, 1 hour a week of empathy practice since 1993, 1994. Any student from 8 to 18. They share problems, they find common solutions since a very early age. And no wonder, that's why they're very happy. Every time that there's a happy index review, they're at the top or not under the number 4 or 5. This index, they don't mean much, but actually they're indicative that empathy works. forward to your comments. I'm sure other people can have other inputs or views that can be complementary. So if you have any skill that can be complementary to the humming, just get in touch. Love to you all. Bye bye from Malta.